Dyiral Square, a place of rejuvenation, sociability, and flow. The site is one of the accessing gateway from City Road and Cleveland Street to the Darlington campus, located in a junction between the back of 3 university buildings. As we walk through the space, we see an underused and overshaded open space that has a lot of potential. People use this space as an essential thoroughfare between Gallagher Green and Victoria Park, but there are very small numbers of utilization and people staying in the area. Towering adjacent buildings that are far beyond the human dimension make it difficult to feel comfortable in the space. Observations from the site show that a minimal amount of people using the space were either on their phones or minding their own business, proving a huge lack of engagement to the space. The site sits as the gateway to the university and more publicly the gateway to the Seymour Center Theatre. Building frontages show the main courtyard leads itself to the main entrance of the Seymour Center, giving the opportunity for people to gather in the space before and after shows and events. Despite that, it's observed that the site is overshaded with uniformly planted trees throughout the courtyard. While this shelters from the summer sun and cold winter wind, we feel like the density of trees weakens the visual transparency and decreases safety at night. The lack of central focal point leads to the lack of space identity in general that draws people to come in and stay. Further research into the site recognizes that prior to settlements, the land was used as a biodiverse wetland by the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, with natural springs and water flowing through it, and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders flourishing with the land and water while creating local significance art and etchings. The Wingara Mura principle informed the idea of the significance that waterways have to the Aboriginal people. To them, water signifies a place to gather and unite, while giving back to the waterways as a symbiotic relationship. Through the survey, we found out people generally have a strong preference to the type of public space that they feel safe, having access to nature and having some activities going on, but also provide some quiet corners to be alone and not feeling forced to interact with others, especially since the COVID-19 pandemic.
As Jane Jacobs states, a good public space needs to be defined, to have an identity and to have a centre where people can engage and come together. The design is framed by 5 key design pillars. Unity, a place for people to gather and thrive over a common theme. Activation, the idea of people staying and interacting while using the space as a retractable performance and social space. Sociability, reflecting on the concept to see and be seen. Flow and movement, by using the formal language of a waterway to facilitate wayfinding, casualness, and fluidity in the space. And finally, the celebration of country, by using these principles of waterways to guide and inform the purpose of a central natural body. A central water body acts as a pulling point from 3 corners of the site, welcoming and enticing people and inviting effortless engagement from all demographics, including people to play, to observe, and to reflect. Added coloured visuals on the pavement help to grab attention from the vicinity of the site and direct pedestrians towards the centre. The introduction of Indigenous symbols and artwork at the edge of the water recognises and marks the history of the site and potentially opens up dialogue between the viewers. The range of diverse seating is provided around the edge of the water and the border of the site. The terrace amphitheatre is provided alongside the edge of the International House, divided by 2 existing trees into 3 semi-spaces to allow people to either sit, lie down, and observe. We provide secondary seating with natural stone and grass adjacent to the water to allow people to sit and have their feet in the water. Also, some movable chairs and tables outside the Seymour Centre that gives people flexibility to adjust at their own wish. Finally, the proximity that the site has to the Seymour Centre allows for an opportunity for relational activation post-COVID-19 pandemic by opening up the public plaza as a retractable performance space in the centre, giving the option for social distancing and outdoor viewing of plays and shows.
Now, an open courtyard with the removal of trees provide a perfect balance of sun and shade, with a well-lit and vibrant space at all times of the day. The central reflection water body creates an atmospheric experience for people to come together and gather with a common focal point. I stay allured by the ends of the waterways, creating a constant energetic flow and movement throughout the space. People are staying and observing, enjoying the peaceful and joyful moment. In the evenings, people spill out into the courtyard and gather around the raised platform to watch a show from panoramic angles. Those special moments designed for cross-programming engagement bring this public space, Dyiral Square, to life.